Coming up on this episode of Bass Hunters, we unpack everything LFE when it comes to Black Adam. Stick around. All right, what's going up, home theater fans and fellow bass heads? My name is Todd Anderson, editor at avnirvana.com, and you are watching Bass Hunters. This is episode number 8, Black Adam. This is a big one for fans of the DCU. You know, this was a hit in theaters for fans. Critics, I don't think they really liked it that much, but who cares about the critics? This one's for the fans. This is a really big release. It's actually hitting disc. I believe it's January 3rd of the new year. This actually dropped onto my Kaleidoscape server on November 22nd. So I've had this for quite a while, and that reminds me, got to give a big shout out to our great friends and partners over at Kaleidoscape. You know, folks, Kaleidoscape gives you access to like 14,000 disc quality titles, lossless audio. In the case of Black Adam, we're talking about Dolby Atmos, 4K HDR. You can see right there, this is basically a 64 gig file. This movie is gorgeous. Now, whether or not you like this movie or not, it is pure eye and ear candy. It's going to make your home theater sing. So, without waiting around, let's get that scorecard right up onto your screen. And I'm sure you're dying to know, what is Todd going to give this film? And I'm so sorry to let you all down. Yeah, you're looking at a D+. You know, I probably would have given this movie a flat D if it hadn't been for a few moments that made me laugh out loud. And those were moments that were supposed to make you chuckle. I'm sorry, folks, this just isn't my kind of content. I know that a lot of folks out there, you just have to look at Rotten Tomatoes and you will see a ton of people love this flick. And to you, I say congratulations. I'm really glad that this kind of content is out there for you. Now, here is the good news. Check out the picture score. Yep, this one gets an A. This is a gorgeous film. It has a brown overtone, almost a sepia overtone with a little bit of a grainy look that helps to hide the CGI effects. But look at some of these images, the detail. And now this is an image that I took with my iPhone. This is a image thrown by a JVC NZ8 onto a Seymour Screen Excellence and Lighter Neo screen. But these are just iPhone shots, and you can just see, oh man, the details are just so awesome. This movie knocks it out of the park when it comes to visuals. Audio, I'm going the same way. You know, there were a few moments where I wasn't loving what I was hearing, but overall, this one gets an A. It's a very well-balanced audio presentation. Dolby Atmos wise, it's not, I guess you could say, the greatest that's ever come along, but it's a really pleasing film. It has a lot of push, especially for those action scenes, and man, they really did a great job. So that brings us to the big B, bass, and I'm giving this one an A too. There you see it right there. Unlike that other universe of superheroes that frequently gets shortchanged in the LFE department, Black Adam does not disappoint. It hits hard from the very beginning all the way down to the very bitter end. There is some really awesome bass moments. Now, you have to kind of temper your expectations a little. I would say that it is definitely a little low-end heavy, but they do a great job of diversifying the bass experience. It's not just the same boom over and over as we saw in a film like Jurassic Park Dominion, but this one, they do a really great job of presenting the bass in a very common sense way. And I say that because it just pairs with what's going on the screen in a great way. When they introduce effects, even if they drop them into the background. The LFE is still there. We see that time and time again with some of the aerial fight scenes. We actually have a moment, instead of having a bass drop, we have, I guess you could call it like a bass pickup, where there's actually bass rising. That is a really neat effect. And there is a fight scene. It's my top scene of the movie that just captures that essence of reference bass. It has transients. It has some really unique, drawn out kind of ambient bass moments. It's just stellar. I love it. So before we start, let's just take a look at a spectrogram, and I'll show you how to read this. Over here on the left-hand side, you have frequency, and right about here is 20 hertz. That's almost where human hearing bottoms out. We can hear a little bit down into the infrasonics, which are down here, but typically what you get down here is felt and not heard. And then everything you see going up there goes into higher and higher frequencies, all the way up to 24 kilohertz. But mainly we're concerned with that region right there. Now over here along the bottom, you have time. This graph moves in this direction. So right over in this area, that is what's being graphed in coordination with what you see going on the screen. And then over here, you see representation of decibels. Obviously red, super high decibels, and blue down there at the bottom represents a lot less energy. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a peek at what we're going to be looking at today. Now, these are just 3 of 6 Bass Hunter script file scenes that I have cataloged for this particular movie. The script file is right down in the description below. So if you're a Kaleidoscape owner and you own this movie and it's on your server, you can click on the link down in the description, download the script file, and you will have access to these specific scenes. So, tough to pick just 3 scenes. I really liked scene 3, Bass Hunter scene 5. Those were no doubt must adds. And then scene 4 there at the very top. There are a number of action sequences throughout this movie that also have a presentation similar to Bass Hunters 4 there at the top. And they're all quite lengthy. This particular one you see there is 8 minutes and 29 seconds. I'm not going to show you the entire thing. We're going to pick and choose a couple moments out of it to take a peek at, but the bottom 2 we're going to see in their entirety. All right, enough jibber jabber. Let's dive into our very first scene. This one is the lengthy one that runs about 8 minutes, and we're going to kick things off right around the 3-minute mark. You're going to experience one of the bass drops, some massive thuds as one of our heroes falls to the ground. There's some gunfire, and of course, that bass pickup.
What device?
Okay, let's pause it right there. You can see we are getting some really nice bass down from 30 hertz down to the 20s. Here's the 20 hertz cutoff. So this is all bleeding down into the infrasonics, same in this region. This though, that's in the 30 to 40 hertz range. Nice and deep, but it's also getting up in here into the 60s and 70s. So some excellent diversity there for the ears. Lots more to give, folks, right there.
What are you doing? Searching for the child.
So you're murdering people.
How else do I find the child?
I can help you, but no more extrajudicial killings.
I don't need any help. Smasher, Cyclone, what are you waiting for?
Okay, I got this. The count of 3. 1, 2. This feels so light.
first bass drop of the scene. Boy, and it is intense right there. Sounds great. Starting off right around 50 hertz or so, and it's going down just below 20. Okay, and you can see right here we had bass drop number 2, and here is that bass pickup right there. Very nice detail. Also, transients associated with the gunfire. It's nice and diversified. It just adds a lot of texture to the scene. Let me actually run that back so you can hear all of that again.
It's not cool.
Okay, so some pretty awesome stuff. You get some deep, heavy-hitting bass. You see there is a little bit of height to it, and we do have some information in the infrasonics, and it's very diversified. I really love that. So let's check out another few minutes further into this clip. It's where The Rock is wrestling with one of these flying bikes, and they take a nosedive down into the ground. Check it out. Okay, and this is what I like in particular about this scene. It's not the heaviest bass of the movie. In fact, in the beginning of the movie, there are a few moments that really would light this thing up if you're looking for pure demo moments. But there is this texture throughout here of how this bass is deployed. It just gives you that sense that he is skidding across the ground with a lot of impact and pain, and yeah, just an excellent bass moment. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you out of that first script scene, and I highly encourage you to check out the other script scenes that are in the script file for this particular movie. If you're not a Quietscape user, I'm going to stick some timestamps down in the description so you can go to your disc and you can find those, but there is a lot of detail throughout this movie, a lot of action that looks just like that. So you'll have a really good sense when you're watching your movie of what kind of bass you really are experiencing. Okay, so let's hop along to the next scene. I like this one a lot. This is where Black Adam is cast away by the wizards. This is a short scene. I'm just going to let this one play through and then we'll chat.
Unworthy
Told you so. That's just some really quality stuff. Let's check out the Council of Wizards moment with the FFT analyzer, just so you can see how much energy is being expelled and how rapidly it's being expelled in the base region during those moments. So keep your eye right in this region. This is 30 hertz, and here's 20 hertz. Of course, down this way is infrasonics.
It wasn't your tune that I opened, was it?
So, pretty awesome stuff. I mean, there is a lot of activity right in that 30, 40, 50 hertz range. Of course, you can also see the energy just punching its way down below 20 hertz. It's just a really fun, textured scene that adds a lot to that particular moment and brings that Wizard Council area to life in a powerful way. Wow. It's just great stuff. So onward and upward, we move on to our third featured scene of the show, and this is Bass Hunters File number 5. This is my favorite bass moment of the entire movie, bar none.
Well, I do. Here we go.
Okay, so let's hop onto the telestrator here and check out some of the awesomeness that is going on. First off, let's look over here. This is just absolutely delicious. Right here, 20 hertz. So in my room, there is activity that is going way down into the infrasonics, and you got this nice little heavy pop of bass that's going from 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 50 hertz. And then over here, yep, bass drop. And then look at the information going on behind it. It's almost like a bass pickup. Lots of bass information just kind of hanging in the air all throughout this scene. Now, let's just move this forward just a little bit. And you get to right here in this part of the scene. Here is another bass drop. And then you have this great sound, this like pulsating bass sound that just is so unique in the movie. It just draws you right into the scene. Let me just go back here and we'll just play those moments again so you can hear them in action. Here we go. And that, folks, is how you do reference bass and how you do it right. Hats off to the sound designers on that team that made that happen. That is reference quality, demo-worthy bass, all in one. Mark that scene. You are going to love it in your home theater room. In terms of what kind of gear plays best with this movie, as you saw, a lot of this bass is in that 30 to 40 to 50 hertz range. So you might be able to get away with a decent soundbar system. You're going to be missing out on the information that goes into the 20s and below, yes. But I think enough is kind of centered up in that 30 to 40 range. You're going to hear it with a decent soundbar system. Of course, I mean, real subs that are dialed in and EQ'd properly, this movie just will hammer your room. It's going to sound glorious, I promise. So definitely pick up the disc. If you're a Kaleidoscape owner, go buy it. This is one to have on hand, if not for the movie itself, but for the demo scenes when it comes to bass. It's just absolutely fantastic. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you today. Coming up, we have fall releasing that should be hitting very soon in the next couple of days. And aside from that, if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can find me on Twitter. My handle there is @AVWoofer. And of course, you can always find me on the forum over at avnirvana.com. My username there is my name. That's Todd Anderson. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time.